Well, is it so? Because there's different types of funny, and you're, I'm guessing, maybe with the class clown, and you might have been the humorist, which might be in a little bit of a different, more cerebral in a sense, right? The humorist,
I was just
like
going to say, the smart one.
Oh, no, that's
I'm more like,
right, exactly. Different styles of comedy, right?
I do think that, you get to a point where you're like, you get feedback at some point where they're like, people find you funny, but then taking it to the next level where you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to take a class and kind of learn how to do this, or I'm just going to, not even take a class, but I'm just going to get on stage and do an open mic night. To your point, though, it's like when you get on stage and you're like, oh, my whole reason for being on stage is to make you laugh, as opposed to like, so my day job, I'm a personal trainer, so you can be funny in your day job, and I'm sure you can be funny in your day job, but people are there for a workout, and then like humor breaks out. It's very different when it's like, oh no, my whole job is to make you laugh. Like it's just a very, it's a different kind of pressure, but. I think the people that tend to seek, I was told actually last year when I started doing open mic nights, I took a class and I was doing open mic nights and I was like, where are all the I don't know, women or anybody over 30? And the guy was great. He was like, well, most people just take a class and that's their bucket list thing.
Out of my class,
they
there's
don't,
only like 2 of us that still do it.
Yeah, I think likewise, It's like, most people, once they do it, it's a bucket list thing, so they don't keep going. And I was like, oh, he's like, yeah, you're kind of a unicorn.
They must be dead at this point.
I'm
still alive, so I have that list.
No, but it's exactly the same thing. Like, there's 2 people in my class that are still doing like
That's so funny.
Yeah.
So did you take a comedy class? Was that what you mean by the classes?
I did, so I did. So I took 2 classes. I took my first one here in Portland with Tim Farrell.
She is the overachiever, the smarty
a little
overachiever.
bit, and then I was like, in January, I was listening to a book. It's called Mastering the Art of Stand-Up. It was written by a guy named Stephen Rosenfield, and so I Googled him, and I was like, and he does classes in New York City, and they were relatively affordable, and so I went down in February. That was stressful.
That's cool.
That was stressful.
What was that like?
Well, it was very interesting because Tim's class was very much like, you kind of get up on stage and you just learn how to like be on stage.
Is it a one-day thing?
No, it was 4 in-person sessions and 2 one-on-one sessions, but he had you write a script. So like, if it was like you wrote everything down, and Tim was very different. Tim was like, just record yourself. And this guy was like, record every single thing. Remember, and then he record like laughs per minute. He was very like, this guy's worked with Jim Gaffigan, Hannah Gatsby, like he's worked with all kinds of people. And so he just wasn't joking around, so, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, ironic.
That, right, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
how many people cried in this class?
well, I don't know who cried. Like, I didn't cry during, but like maybe on the train ride back to my aunt and uncle. No, it was super stressful, but it was really useful, like, all things, like, it just kind of helped you learn to format your stories, basically, right? Because there's a setup and there's a punch, and you watch comedians, whoever it is that you like, you watch them and you're like, it looks like it's just second nature, like they're just telling a story.
Exactly.
And they are, but like there's a very deliberate setup and punch to it.
They're leading the audience somewhere.
Exactly. And they've probably written it out. So it was.
And I actually read that book too. I have the paperback. I got it in Chicago because I remember especially he talked about Jim Gaffigan and that's what's so interesting. It's like magic. Look at how magic, everybody's like, oh, how'd they do that? And it's like, well, you practiced it for like years, the sleight of hand. And people think of that with jokes, and that's why so many people who are like, oh, I'm funny with my friends, and they get up on stage and they bomb, because it does seem like there's like, in script writing, because I've written a lot of screenplays, you think, oh, anybody can write a script. I mean, you just sit down and write it. And at like page 12, you're like lost. It's like, forget it.
Or the story's ending, you're like, oh, the dog died. I am
moving on. Or you just, it veers off and you're like, because there's all these rules that go into all.
There's a craft to it.
There's
a craft to it. And, good comedians, you can't tell that, like good stories, right? You can't tell that, but you're like, oh, no, like there's a craft to it.
So. You have to know kind of the rules to be able to bend them and break them. So we'll talk with each of you guys separately more about your comedy styles and things like that. But I mean, do you guys find that big picture, you're both trying to structure like a longer thing? You want to have like 30 minutes and I can do something with it, or like, are there those kinds of goals? Or
I think I do loosely. I don't know if I've put it down on paper, really. I think that'd be great if I could do a big show. I'd love to open for a big name. I'd love to get a call from SNL saying, yeah, we'd love to have you write with us. I would love that. So it's more like a pie in the sky, but that's a good idea to make some goals that I could probably achieve.
I'm going to interrupt. That's not a pie in the sky, because when we did the fundraising show, it was five comics, and we didn't put a cap on it because we could be loose with it. And so you went just fine for, I don't even know how long you went, right? 10, 12, 15 minutes?
I was so comfortable. I think that's really the key.
Yeah, but so you've got it. Yeah, you've already done that. Yes, for
I'll
sure.
have a special.
Yeah. And it probably, that's another question I was going to ask is like, does the energy of the room, can you read it when you walk into? And you're like, okay, this is going to be a good room. Seems like people are excited to be here.
Oh yeah.
They're, or versus you walk in and you're like, oh, this is going to be like, everybody's all like,
I do comedy most Wednesday nights at the Comedy Mill. Shout out to the Comedy Mill.
Okay, I got to get that.
In Biddeford at Mulligan's. They have great open mics on Wednesdays, and they also have shows upstairs. And the open mic is great. It's free. They have a lot of non-comedians attend, which I don't know if you have this experience, but a lot of open mics, it's comedians in the audience, and they're pretty stingy with the laughs. So that can be a little rough. And so the Comedy Mill one is awesome because there's customers there, and it can get really rowdy, and it's a great time. Last Wednesday, there were a couple people in the audience just the whole time, and the comedian a couple before me pointed it out. You guys haven't laughed once, and they said, this is bad, and they shared who their favorite comedian was, and they just had a scowl on the whole time, and they just refused to clap, refused to crack a smile, which offended me because people are just trying to have a good time, express themselves, and the least you could do is support them, even if you don't think they're really funny. Just fake it until
they're
you
like,
make
impress
it.
me. And
Think of it as a little kids talent show. Would you just say, "Oh, that kid is so bad,"
Like
So anyway, I got to get over that, but it really brought the whole room down because the whole row, they felt like they couldn't laugh, and then I think the other comics felt it, and it really was like a poison. So yeah.
And you've had experiences like that.
Oh yeah, I'm still mad at her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're watching,
for
How
sure.
dare you?
Yeah, no, it can make a big difference, and then you find you're like maybe trying harder, right? Because you're like, I was like, I just want to make it, like I think we have people in our lives like that. Like
you get more tense.
You do. Yeah. It's hard to relax. Yeah. It's and it's always you hear comedians say all the time, like, oh, you've been a great audience. That's not not just something you throw out
hyperbole, right?
No, like you don't say that. Like, and I've only been in front of maybe like 20 audiences at this point, but enough to be like, there's some that are in it and some that are less so. And so you're like, no, like you've been a great audience. Like it makes a difference. It does.
It messes with your head because you can have the same material on a Monday and a Wednesday, and completely different reactions in the audience. And if you listen to the audience on the Monday that didn't laugh, you can say, and I'm talking about me, oh, I'm horrible. I should never do this again. Oh, and then you listen to the Wednesday. Yeah, you listen to the Wednesday and you're like, I'm actually really good.
You're like, oh my God, I'm
amazing. So you're on this roller coaster, and I think my challenge is to kind of step back from tying my worth or like how good I am to their reaction, because it's always going to change. And so I have to be happy with what I'm doing, and whether or not someone laughs, be having a good time.
And that's a big thing. I mean, I think I feel that way about just like being a coach in general. I was like, all right, like my worth is tied to whether or not my clients have success. Like, but comedy is especially, you're like, oh, okay. Somebody laughs, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I'm a good person.
You hate me, you love me.
Right.
You hate me, you love me.
There you go. I think you just summed up the whole journey right there.
And I think, it's a generalization, but comedians are sensitive people.
Oh yeah.
And they're people pleasers. They want,
that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I mean,
really messed up individuals. No.
Well, that's it's kind of funny because like the picture from the outsiders, they love to hear kind of the backstage, kind of thing. What about those comedians that we hear about that are like completely super, like really weird? Like they have that one face when they're out, and then have you encountered people like that yet?
I've definitely met comedians that seem much more extroverted on stage, one-to-one in person.
Yeah.
A little bit lacking in the social skills, a little more nervous. And so I think being on stage is where they're more comfortable. And I know for me, even though I am an extrovert, it's acting to me a bit when I'm on stage. So it's even more pronounced. It's even more over the top because I'm playing a character. Even in my jokes when I'm just doing stand-up, sometimes it's a character. These stories aren't real. The scenarios aren't real all the time. Sometimes they are, but for the most part, it's an act.
And I'm an introvert. Like after our show last week, like I had to call. I phoned in my Friday. Like I had to reschedule all of my clients.
I was pumped. I was like, I'm going to buy a boat after this.
Oh my gosh,
feel great.
I was like, I'm
totally
going in a
opposite.
hole. I can't do anything for the next like 48 hours. I'm all good. Yeah, it's because it was like, but it's a performance.
Yeah.
It's a performance, and you get out and do that and. But it's like my wife is always like, because I stress before every performance, and she's like, "Do you like this?" And I was like, "It's not that simple, okay? It's like when you have a creative outlet, like you like it when it goes well,
exactly.
But it's stressful. So I was like, that's just not as simple. She's like, her bigger question is like, "Are you gonna keep doing it?" And I was like, "Yes, you're along for the ride."
I feel like when it goes well, you forget about the painful parts and you forget it. It's like childbirth, top of the world. It's so worth it. You forget about it. You forget that it was a painful
I can't imagine
experience.
forgetting that.
And it is more complicated. Like your wife says, she's like, why? It sees you, pulling your hair out, flipping out, and you're like, this is, it's like, why are you doing this?
Yes.
Because most people wouldn't understand. It's like, because that's part of what it is. It's the ride, ups and downs. You have, there's a drive to do it. It's like you said. There's a lot of people that took the classes. Did you take classes too?
Yeah, I took a class with Brendan Eyre.
Okay.
Amazing comic. And I think it was over a few months. We met once a week for a few hours.
Okay.
And we talked about structure of jokes, and we wrote, and we had to hold a microphone when we shared in class.
Yeah.
And even that was nerve-wracking, which I didn't think that was going to be nerve-wracking.
Right.
But we had to get up at a microphone to speak in class. And then the graduation was a 5-minute set. And that was really the first experience of doing a show. And it was really great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, Tim's class was like the very first class he walked in, and he was like, all right, like the first person stood up, like, and I was like, oh, he's just using this woman that took the class before as like an example. And then like the next person, and I was like, oh, no. He's like, he's gonna make us all, and I was like, I got nothing. Like and then you stand up, and fortunately I live in a country house, and I'd had a rat in my house the day before. And rarely that you say fortunate, but you're like, well, I've got a story anyway. But yeah, it was just like, he's like, well, if I told you all you were going to perform, none of you would have came tonight. And you were like, fair point. But yeah, you have to get comfortable being like, even hearing your voice in a microphone.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes I can hear myself breathing too loud, and that's it's how close am I going to put it? Where am I find that I get it stuck. It's like a security blanket, and it will stick to me like this, and I'm like, move your arm. Don't look like a robot. And then you got to, what are you going to do with the cord? What are you going to do with the mic stand? Where's the stool going to go? There's all these things that you have to think about.
Yeah, little details.
They
like
show
the physicality on stage, because that's the last thing you probably want to do is be like stiff looking and looking around, but you want to figure it out. And once again, it's a performance, because you're there for, it's like 5 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever they give you. And during that time, you want to make the best out of that time. And a lot of it is physicality too.
Oh yeah.
So, and you've learned that as you've done things, kind of pick up the cup here, or just things, or you just kind of play it by ear?
I'd like to do that more. I find that I do kind of repetitive. I have this thing where I'll kick my leg out. I've seen myself on videos, and if I speed up the videos, I just look like Toy Story, just like do-do-do, or rocking back and forth. So I have some repetitive things that I do. I would like to be looser. I would like to be more physical and do more you know, talking with my hands, and I love physical comics. Steph Tolev is my favorite, and but she's super physical. But it's a lot to think about. You kind of freeze.
Well, and you see some of these people that have made it really big, and a lot of times it's like they may have like almost what seems like a tick. And it's part of their thing. It's their shtick. You know, it's like,
they work it in.
They work it in, and it becomes part of the physicality. So let's talk a little bit, because we're going to see a clip of your guys' segment, the first segment from Wake Up Maine. What was that like, kind of meeting and doing something like on TV? You know, and we don't film it live, so there's editing and stuff, but was that exciting?
Yeah, that was
crazy.
Awesome.
I mean,
that was like a kid in a candy store. That was super cool.
The fact that it was just like, you know, carte blanche, right? You just like, we had microphone and like pull sticks, and it was like, and we just had it. Like when we got to the end of that segment, and you guys, you were like, oh, that was 20 minutes. We were like, are you kidding? Like it was just.
I think people think that we had rehearsed it. That they don't realize we were making it up as we go along, which that makes me love it even more, because
and had known each other for 3 hours.
I love it. And I also give you guys props, because the editing is amazing. Because
we got Lauren,
you know,
oh gosh,
thank you.
If you just listen to it straight up,
we jibber jabbered, and you know. I don't know. It's just crazy what you guys can make out of hours of us being goofballs.
Oh yeah.
And we also have segments upcoming with you guys at Claw Coffee with Troy Cobb.
I can't wait to see that episode, because that was a really fun day.
That was a lot of fun.
And the Limitless
and we had a lot of
Wrestling
coffee that
day. and you guys fell into kind of interesting, which you find that's a little bit about. Kind of similar to your vibes on stage?
It's different than my vibe. And I don't even know why I picked that vibe. I think because we were talking about it being a news type of show, I like the irony of being kind of a really, you know, I'm so put together, but I'm kind of crazy on the inside. So I guess in a sense it is similar to how I am on stage, because I think that's why people laugh at what I say, because they're not expecting it.
Right.
And so Karen Jones, to me, was a funny way of being like, hi, I'm Karen Jones. Exactly, I just got out of jail.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. And I just am being awkward, which is pretty par for the course. That's not super different. Like, it's, you know, like, I get awkward and embarrassed so quickly in normal situations, no matter what, that Karen just brought out my awkwardness.
I'm like, I probably really made it worse. I'm sorry.
No. I mean, it worked, because, you know, my wife was like, well, that's a character I've seen before. I was like, that's true. So.
Getting embarrassed by it.
Oh, yeah,
so
very much so.
What we're going to do is, I think, hopefully we're going to play the clip right now, I'm finding out, from Wake Up Maine. Awesome. We may be able to see it right here, but if not, the people at home will be able to see it.
Great.
Love it.
And then we'll come back, and then can you stick around, Annie, and we'll talk a little bit, and then right after that, we'll talk Kim.
That sounds great, yeah.
So check out that clip, and we'll be right back. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Next up, we're going to have Karen and Kim meeting at what better place than the Portland Club, shooting some pool, getting to know each other, and learning about where they're going to be exploring this season on Wake Up Maine.
Are you ready to get this going?
Yeah.
So where are you coming from, Karen?
Cumberland County Jail, but grew up in New Hampshire. Just had a little bit of an arson issue. Ex-husband left me for another woman, whatever, love of his life, moved in with her, but I wish him and his mother well, I really do. What about you?
I came from a convent, Sisters of St. Joseph. From there, I interned with PBS. Rachel Maddow's kind of a little hero of mine.
Yeah, and, I can see that.
Looking forward to going to some of these places in Maine.
Meeting people. Scaring people.
Seeing what made, okay, that
not
wasn't
lighting
one
things
of my,
on fire.
Definitely not that.
Meeting Hawkeyes.
Less of that.
I just want to be honest, you know, give the viewers what they want.
Yeah.
Hard-hitting journalism.
Yeah.
You know, sexual undertones.
Okay, not that, but maybe. I mean, if you're really interested in it.
What I'm hoping is that this TV show allows us
is going to fire you. What? No.
To get rich.
Oh!
That's all I want.
Okay, well, I want an Emmy, so I guess those things aren't mutually exclusive, right?
Where does Emmy live? We want to hear from you, viewers. What do you want to see us do? What do you want to see two hot babes, two wild hot babes do downtown?
Less of the wild, I think. Whatever you want to see, we're here for it.
Not anything.
Okay, but not like
an OnlyFans thing, but
definitely
just
not.
like requests. I definitely want to go to a fire department.
Okay,
I know it's going to happen.
Okay, all right.
Fire department, police department, gyms, construction sites, ranches, where cowboys are.
No.
What else?
Vintage stores where
I
we
don't
buy
want to meet a vintage guy. An old man. An old vintage man.
What if he has a heart problem and a lot of money, though?
Okay, you have a point.
Okay,
vintage
there we
store
go.
it is. Age gaps are just gaps.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter. If you're old, if you have money and a heart problem, call me. It's fine. If you are young and in college, I'll help you study. Viewers, hot guys, we want to hear from you. If you're single, call us or call me. Don't call her. Call me.
Don't call me. Don't. I saw that red hat in the back of your car when I came up here.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I saw that red hat. Wasn't a Red Sox hat.
How I vote is my business and my business only.
It wasn't a Red Sox
Keep your shaggy dog to yourself. I know this was difficult. I know I was a little bit testy, but I do look forward to working with you. I think this is the beginning of a wonderful friendship.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think that's.
And then, hey everybody, we're back again. How you doing? Good to see you.
Still
we're
good.
Here. We're here with Annie Purley. So great clip, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We will be premiering the next episode. Tomorrow, hopefully in the morning, episode 2, where you guys are meeting with Troy Cobb, Claw Coffee.
Yeah.
So I wanted to explore a little bit more about your history, because Kim and I talked several months ago during the kind of B-Riff show.
Yeah.
So I got a chance to hear she had a really interesting backstory.
Yeah.
But I never really knew about you. Did you grow up in the Maine area, or you're from Mass or New Hampshire?
Grew up in Conway, New Hampshire, so not too far.
Not too far,
Went to UNH and moved here afterwards. And so I've been here over 20 years. My son, Isaac, is now up at Maine.
Okay.
So yeah, been here for a while. I know that I'm not a Mainer, but.
Close to a Mainer, though, in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
So I know you had said that there was like a huge life change that occurred that kind of spurred you onto the comedy. So comedy was almost like a kind of a offshoot of all of these positive changes in your life.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd always been a funny kid. I was class clown 6th and 12th grade, and certainly got encouragement from people, oh, you should do stand-up, you should do this. And I was probably afraid for a lot of years. But in 2021, I had been a single mom for a lot of years, and then got married and divorced in 2021. And I was 100 pounds overweight. I was absolutely miserable. I felt like my life was at a really, really low point. And so I lost 100 pounds, and I started to make a list of things that I wanted to do, basically living life. And on that was do a comedy class or something like that. And so I signed up and took the class, and the graduation was a 5-minute set. That gave me my first video, and I submitted that into the Portland Comedy Festival, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. So comedy has really been healing for me. I can joke about things that have made me sad, that have made me mad, and I can have a really good time with it, especially as my son's gotten older and now transitioning out of the house. I feel like I have something that's all mine, and I can express myself.
Now, you have advanced to at least the semifinals, maybe the finals of the Maine's Best Comedian. What could tell us a little bit more about that?
So last night was New England's Funniest Comedian, the initial qualifying round, and so I advanced to the finals, which will be Thursday, August 22nd at Aura. There's another initial round of comedians next Thursday, and then so the people that make the finals will be kind of all mishmashed together. So August 22nd at Aura, make sure you come and vote for Annie Purley.
Wish her luck for that, and come there because it is voting by the audience.
Yes.
And so another thing that is a big love of yours now, I believe, is it biking, like motorcycles?
Yes, yes. So that was also on my list.
That was also on the list.
Yeah,
all right.
I'd always loved riding a motorcycle with my dad on the back of his. and always had that as a goal. Never thought I could do that, especially bigger. So I got my motorcycle license after my divorce and have moved up 3 bikes. I started with a really small Honda 250.
Okay.
Then I went to a Harley Street Rod 750, and now I got the big girl. I have a 2025 Lowrider ST that I actually rode to New York and back this summer over 4 days.
I remember you were talking about that, and I think I saw it maybe on social media. And you guys would stay at places, and it was a whole journey, right?
Yeah, so it was Babes Ride Out.
Okay.
It was an all-women's motorcycle camping weekend. And I actually ride with a group of women in the area. We call ourselves the Litas. We're not a motorcycle club. We're a collective.
Right.
It's actually international, and it's just people with like-minded interests, and we get together all throughout the year, whether it's motorcycle riding or catching a hockey game, and we talk about motorcycles and just connect. It's really fun.
Very cool, very cool. So where else can people catch you coming up? And then,
so you'll typically find me Wednesday nights at the Comedy Mill, which is at Mulligan's in Biddeford. Yep. Also sometimes at Empire Comedy. They have some great mics. And let's see, Aura, August 22nd. Okay. Sometimes at Newscapes too. So follow me on social media. I love my bee. And I post my shows there.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you so much.
Yeah.
I think we're going to go to a break. Hopefully we're going to go to this song by Buck Edwards coming up from our first show.
Love it.
If not, we might go to something else. It's kind of director's choice back there.
Awesome.
But we'll be right back with Kim Lloyd right after this to hear about a very, very interesting story from the past. Thanks again.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Dance on a moonlit night. A girl in a Stetson just looks so right. When you hear that fiddler start to play, she'll be rocking your night away. You could go around the world looking for the perfect girl. When I get my turn at bat, girl in a cowboy, girl in a cowboy hat, girl in a cowboy hat, girl in a cowboy hat. I could see her digging my old Ford truck, take her fishing and try my luck. Don't need no Prada or Calvin Klein, those jeans she's wearing will do just fine.
Hey everybody, we're back here with Kim Lloyd. Want to thank Buck Edwards for playing this great song. Did you ever get a chance to see that one on the first episode?
I think I did actually.
Yeah,
it was pretty awesome.
Girl in a cowboy
yes,
hat.
It
He's
was
kind of a wild guy.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I enjoyed it.
So Kim has been on the show before when we were doing the stuff with Michelle Lisi, and you had a really interesting story. So you're from more like Pennsylvania area, right?
Yeah, I'm from Western Pennsylvania, which means Yinzer is what they call us, and that's based on Ewans, as they say. So instead of y'all, And so, as I like to say, it's like, you guys want to go downtown, drink some Iron, Pittsburgh's playing, which means, would you like to go downtown and have a beer? The Steelers are on. So.
And that sounds just like my cousins, because that's where my dad is from and all of his brothers. And you've said before you had that accent more, but it's kind of washed away.
Oh my God, yeah, it washed away a little.
Yeah.
When I go home, my family's also back there, but it doesn't take very long to fall back into it. And my wife, yeah, she calls me on it.
Yeah.
Apparently, I don't know how to say the name Dawn. I can only say Dawny.
Dawn.
So
it's kind of funny. I mean, it almost feels like sometimes it can get into that Boston-ish thing, right? Because they do the same thing, like Dawn. You know, my friend Dawny. You know, from
it's just like, a weird. Yeah, it's I can pinpoint it now though. Like if I hear somebody talk, I'll be like, you're from that general. If you can't say your O's, and I'm one of them, then I'm like, I know where you're from.
Well, so when we talked last, because as we had talked about before, we have a great show, but we don't have the audience that is going to have always seen every show in the past. So we can regurgitate some of the stuff from before, where there'll probably be new viewers. Because I remember you were an athlete. Weren't you doing softball? Wasn't that your thing? Yeah. And then weren't you, I don't want to spill all your stories for you. I mean, you also had an interesting other second life or first life before this life.
I did, yes. So I was very cliche. I was the lesbian who played softball, but I lived in a convent. I didn't know I was gay. So I went to a Catholic university in Erie, Pennsylvania. Yeah. And I was like, all right, well, they were like, you know, if you're not called to the married life, then you're called to either the single life, because, you know, gay wasn't an option. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I want to be a nun. And so I spent my senior year of college in a convent with the intention to, you know, becoming a nun. And, you know, I will say the Sisters of St. Joseph, the thing about them that I will give them mad props for is that they, you know, they are funded, like they don't take a paycheck, they take a vow of poverty, but they're funded to do the kind of work that a lot of people can't afford to do otherwise. You know, and so you could do, you know, you could run a homeless shelter or things like that. You know, so I did appreciate that part of things in their work ethic. And I did also still live my life as a college senior. And so did I bring a man home to the convent one night? Yes, I did. Did I bring a woman home to the convent the next night? Yes, I did. Yeah. So yeah, there were, you know.
It is interesting. So was there, and there was no kind of pressure from your family to like, on the religious side?
Oh no, they thought it was weird. I mean, I can remember my cousins being like, "I don't understand. You're gonna," and I was like, "Well, you know," I was like, "I'll be a cool nun," or as it turned out, not at all.
And that was on your fourth year of college. That
was my fourth year of college.
So but you'd had partied the rest of the time.
Oh, I partied while I was living in the convent.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
well,
so
yeah, exactly.
I was like, let's blend it all together, and so.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting, because I mean, I was finding myself at that age, at exact same age, religiously, like in New Age and stuff. And I still keep a lot of those traits. I don't really look at, but I was very into, and still into like astrology and a lot of Earth type of stuff. Yeah. And I think it happens a lot. It's just interesting that yours was so much in basically Catholic religion, right? Yeah, that it was a very, you know, solid. And that you lived there for the whole.
I did, yeah. No, I lived there for a full 12 months, and you know, there are principles like when you're that age, you're searching for purpose, right? You're looking for what that means, and you know what life means, and all of that, you know, kind of stuff. And so there are principles that certainly still apply, but you know, then you're like, oh, or I'm gay, and you're like, well, that just changes everything. Yeah. And so, and I have been back to visit the nuns since then, and they're good eggs. They don't really have they're a dying breed, as the case may be, but you know, there are a lot of the principles from there that you carry forward. But like, there's a lot of things that you're just like, you know, it's to drop in a dinner conversation. You're like, well, when I lived in a convent, and then you just move on, and then you have somebody over here being like, did I hear you right? You know, so. And then after that, the athletic side, and were you were doing softball later? Because I know you're a personal trainer. Were you always trying to do something in sports, or? I was. Okay, I worked as I was a sports journalist for a while. My first job was a newspaper back when newspapers were still a thing, and I ended up having 29 jobs ultimately, and a lot of those were related to sports or athletics in some way, shape, or form. And yes, I was a softball coach, and then eventually in Maine, I was working as an assistant athletic director at a university in Maine, and my position ended up, being cut, and I ended up becoming a personal trainer, and that was over 10 years ago. And it was one of those things where I was like, oh, okay, this is what I was meant to do all along, was
one-on-one,
this kind of coaching.
Yep.
Yeah, and so, but it took me 29 jobs, and there were some very interesting jobs in the mix for sure. So
well, and COVID probably, because you do some of it virtual, some of it person. Yeah.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, COVID. I was working at a gym in Kennebunk, and that was coaching in person at that point, and then obviously COVID upended obviously everything, and so we started doing things virtually. And what that ended up opening up was that a lot of people became more willing to do things online from a participation. Like, it existed from a coaching perspective, but people obviously, like, Zoom is now second nature, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that it was before COVID, and now we're like, Zoom is a verb. They've arrived, right?
Right,
We're
exactly.
going to Zoom.
Right, yeah.
And so that ended up opening up the opportunity for me when I left that gym, and now a lot of what I do is virtual, which means I can do it from anywhere, which is nice.
And they can find you if anybody's out there looking for you. It's Kim Lloyd Fitness.
Kim Lloyd Fitness.
Yeah.
Yep. You can find me. That's my website. That is my Instagram. That is my Facebook. So you can find me at kimlloydfitness.com.
And it's also kind of just life coaching in the sense that you also probably help with nutrition.
Correct. Yep.
Like the making the right choices, because as we all know, as I have to struggle with every day, it's probably 80% the kitchen and 20% the gym.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can work out all the time, but then you could go at night like I do after this show and eat a big tub of ice cream by myself. And
no judgment.
Right,
and you cannot train a poor diet.
Yeah, exactly.
You cannot train a poor
that's
diet,
part of what you teach, right? It's
correct. Yeah, nutrition. I'm also a certified stress sleep recovery coach, because I like to say, like with fitness, you can't pull on one string without a lot of other things happening. And so being able to have conversations, sort of a holistic approach to training, I think is how I work it. And so yeah.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank you so much for being on the show again.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
And watch again, Kim and Karen as the names. It's Kim and Annie on Wake Up Maine. We'll be premiering the second episode tomorrow morning. So we're going to play, I think right now, another music video. But I want to thank you guys again for being on the show. And we'll be right back with Michelle Violet, who also is on episode 1. So stick with us. We're live. We're having fun. Thanks again.
If we try, girl, don't be surprised, girl, if I try, girl, 'cause you're my kind of girl. Don't say goodbye, girl, just say hi, girl. Well now, bet you're wondering why, girl. No, you try, girl, you stand by, girl. Well now, keep your eyes on the prize, girl. So fly. You're so fly. Understand, girl, you're in the man, girl. Well now, this ain't no reprimands around the world, girl. It's such a world, girl. Well now, sit down, unfurl, girl. You did a dream, girl, to the extreme, girl. Well now, you know exactly what I mean, 'cause you fly, girl, up in the sky, girl. Well now, keep your eyes on the prize, girl. So fly. You're so fly. so fly.
Hey, everybody. Today we have a really interesting guest. My producer set this up, Annie Friedlander. Great to meet you, Annie.
Nice to meet you, Luigi.
Annie has a show. I believe that you're on social media.
Yep, we're on YouTube. It's called Leaves of Three, What Do I See?
Okay, okay. I'm assuming this is like a nature type of show?
Yes, we go out into the woods, in the Maine woods specifically, and we're trying to gear towards, I want to say your 7 to 12-year-old, just exploring, seeing what natural things can be eaten, what animal life can be seen, identifying things and so forth. It's just a real pleasure.
Why don't we take a look right now, some of the stuff that you guys were foraging outside with you and my producer, Warren.
Okay.
So what do you have for us here, Annie?
Well, let me bring those up for you.
Okay.
I don't know if you can get a shot of this or not.
Yeah, I think we'll get a shot.
But we were right outside. So this is just right outside your studio, Luigi.
Okay, yeah, in the parking lot.
Right, that would be outside your studio. And what I found for you, put that there, is right here. This is this beauty right here. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Yeah, it looks like a bush that was right by my car.
Well, we did it a little further away than where the cars would have parked.
Yeah.
Like I said, I will, I washed them and prepared
Washed them, yeah.
This is called prickly lettuce.
Prickly lettuce, all right.
And not only is it a consumable,
yeah,
but this is like the best medicinal herb that we probably have here in Maine.
Now, once again, we're going to tell the audience at home, we can't confirm or deny the medicinal properties.
Of course we can confirm it. There's studies on it, Luigi.
Yeah, but the network tells me very strictly, we can say that you use this and you use it recreationally, but we can't say that it's been confirmed as a medical cure of any kind. I mean,
tend to disagree. There are several studies that it is medicinal.
Okay, well,
and how it can be used. I guess if you want to meet in the middle, we'll say that if you're not experienced with it, don't use it.
Okay.
Okay. Now this one everybody knows, and a lot of people hate. Can you get in on that?
I think we can get in on that.
Do you know what that is? The flower's gone by.
Yeah, it looked like maybe it was a dandelion in there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Every part of the dandelion is not only edible, but very useful once again as well. And so these are very edible, the leaves. I prefer them much younger. Once the flower is gone, they become a little more bitter.
Bitter, yeah.
But the root, which I didn't grab this time, the tap root can be ground and made into teas and tonics, etc. that once again can help with a lot of ailments. Now this one I really did kind of want you to try, because this one is, we often start the young ones out with this. And once again, you're right, not the three. This is, here, let's get that in there.
Yeah.
This is called mountain sorrel. It's an early spring. And almost, look, this is starting to wilt a little bit, but it kind of looks like clover.
It does, yeah.
Okay, so.
All right. Yeah, we'll have cameras moving around a little bit.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it tastes good. Yeah.
Kind of lemony, right?
It's interesting. So you can find her and her husband doing all kinds of different things out there in the woods. Let's take a look at, you have a clip that you want to show us from earlier when you were out there with my producer.
Absolutely. I was right out there with Warren, and I were out in the parking lot.
Okay.
And I'll identify all these species again and show you.
So we'll cue that up right now. We'll take a look at it. I know we're running short on time, but we'd love to have you back one way or another. But let's look at the clip and we'll wrap things up with Annie right after this. Thanks a lot.
Okay, but can she fit me in for 11? Because I need to do my roots. And then maybe just a little trim. No, we're not going to do nails. I have some interviews. I don't really want to look like I've got fiberglass nails on or whatever, No, we got to still look a little rough for them. Yeah. I have no clue. Local cable access or something like that. Yeah. I'll tell you about it when I get in.
Hey,
sure.
hey, we're live. We're shooting.
Okay, I'll let you go. Bye-bye. Okay, yeah, sure. Where do you want me?
Yeah, right over here.
Okay. Sorry about that. That isn't the one that we're supposed to queue up.
So I'd have to say from our producers, we will try to work on that. I know that they let that run a little longer than you might have liked.
Do you have an editor?
Currently, right now, we do not.
I can tell.
Right. Well, we're running short of time right now, so
Thank
I'd
God.
love to have you back again. We'll get that kind of clip mix-up fixed for the next time. Annie,
Are you going to run the clip that actually was taken?
We're running. We don't have a lot of time to fix anything, so I want to thank you so much, Annie. I really appreciate it. Check out her YouTube podcast, what's it called again?
Leaves of Three, What Do I See, at www.mountainmama.com.
Okay, Leaves of Three, www.mountainmama.com. Thank you so much, Annie. Appreciate it. We'll be right back right after this. Thanks a lot, guys. Exactly. Yes. Here we are back again. Thank you so much for sticking with us. We are live here. That was Annie Friedlander, a.k.a. Michelle Violet, playing she was Annie Friedlander, the Forager. A classic bit already. People love it. Everybody thinks it's real, but in fact, everybody has thought, oh my God, what the heck happened with that whole incident with that lady? But you are, in fact, an actress and a comedian, improv performer. So could you tell the audience your real name?
Yes, to tell the truth, my real name is Michelle Violet.
Yes. And Michelle, don't you live in kind of Wyndham area, or?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. We just moved into our retirement home on Little Sebago.
Nice. Love it there. Now, you've been doing improv for quite a while and acting. I mean, I saw your reel. You've been in a lot of different things, a lot of places. Could you tell the folks a little bit in the time we have, kind of where, you grew up in Maine, right? Or
I did. Bangor, Maine.
Yeah.
The land of a Roger Miller reference, Stephen King, and a really big Paul Bunyan statue. Yeah.
Now, how'd you like growing up in Bangor? It's a fun little kind of town.
I think the author's name is Sandy Faulkner. He's a Maine author. And I went to the University of Maine at Orono, and I'm going to butcher this quote, but his quote was something to the effect of, you spend your whole life getting out of Maine, but you're glad you never left, or something to that effect. It's like, when you grow up in Bangor, actually, to be honest, Herman, it's like, oh, I can't wait to ditch this. But as an adult, it's like, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Exactly. Yeah, it is. It's kind of like you spend half your life trying to get out of Maine and the other half trying to come back.
Exactly.
Because it's like, well, I think I grew up in Portland. We had the same kind of vibe where it's like, it has a little bit, you feel like you outgrow it, but then you feel like you never did. So now, have you been acting all the time, or did you, I know you raised a family, you kind of took a little break. So what was going on after college?
It actually started way before then. I was born into it. My overacting career started early.
Okay.
My father was a local broadcaster in Bangor. He and my mother met at the University of Maine at Orono, both in the theater. And so I grew up in a family very much staunched in acting and humor and so forth. So I grew up running the halls of WABI TV, WLBZ, WVII. I don't know if that reaches up, if your show reaches up to that neck of the woods, but I grew up on radio stations and TV stations being a pain in my father's butt.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting about the broadcast vibe to Maine, as far as I can tell, because my folks have always had a place in Bar Harbor, so sure. I've always seen that there's basically a totally different kind of set of channels up there, more or less, for the three broadcast networks. And so you were, and that was channel like ABC? Was that the one that your folks were at?
No, it was a CBS. It still is a CBS affiliate. Actually, the Hill station. Oh God, I know the history. If you really want me to go look,
all right. No, I mean
1953. Maybe I started out in Bangor, Maine. So yeah, they were a and I think they still are a CBS affiliate.
Yeah. And so, is your first love though still doing improv? Because that's what I've seen a lot of improv. Or kind of what do you? How do you balance that out?
It's easy to balance when you have no work, Luigi. No. I always I hate when people say this.
Yeah.
I always knew I wanted to be an actress. But I went to the University of Maine, and I was intimidated and thought people that were in the acting, and this is going to come off horrible, but were too far out for me. So I went into psychology.
Yeah.
To fix my own problems, I guess. And I didn't really start improv until I had my first child, my daughter. And I'm like, now or never, make it work. And took a acting class at Acorn Theater with the late, great David LaGraff. And just really fell in love. And I don't know, it feeds my ego. So what was the question? I think I went off on a tangent.
Well, I think I was just asking about, because I know you kind of juggled the acting pursuits, the improv and all that with also having a family, I believe, right? And kind of doing some other interesting things. And
you know what? The thing about Portland, I think you know this, it has super rich and deep theater and independent film communities, right? Mm-hmm. So there is opportunities galore for you. And I was actually working with a friend on an independent movie, and my son was really sick. And the shooting was based around me that day. And I'm like, I can't. I mean, I was taking him to the emergency room. And that's when I kind of realized, if you're making your family your first priority, you're making your family your first priority. The other things have to wait in the wings. Well, so that's how that went. But now my kids are grown, still with me, still here, but grown. So I decided to dabble back and see if anyone would have me in the improv world.
Yeah, we've seen I've seen it on social media, some really cool stuff with some of the improv groups. And it was definitely, everybody who's seen it thought this clip was outrageous. And also really believed that this was a real interaction. So that says a lot about the element of just that small, smoldering element of your kind of disdain for me. But how, if people want to get in touch, I don't want to lose you before the show ends right at 10. How do people find you online if they want to learn more about you or maybe hire you for a gig? Or
I love you, Luigi.
Yeah.
www.michelledviolet.com.
Yeah.
And that's VIOLETTE.com. So that'd be great. I'd love for people to just even say hi.
Yeah, and there's so many. I mean, and you're. Go ahead. Yeah.
We have a show. Sunday, August 24th. The group I'm in, Improvaganza, over at Batson River Brewing and Distilling in Portland.
Okay.
Absolutely free.
Yep.
So you get good food, good drink, right?
Yep.
And a fun time. And it starts at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. So people should check that out too.
Well, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. I think we're almost out of time, but thanks again, Michelle. And let's bring you back on an upcoming show to talk a little bit more. Would that be cool with you?
I'd love it. I'd love it. Thank you for having me, Luigi.
Thanks again, Michelle. I appreciate it. That's it for us. I think we're over at the moment, but we'll see you guys tomorrow night for Saturday Night Special, 11 p.m. Thanks.